standards. Very superficial standards. I mean, you see it on social media.
Okay. First of all, I want to say I like Brett Cooper in the sense I think she's a nice girl. I think she means well. But watch what she says here in this video with Chris Williamson. Watch what she says without really even understanding what she just said. And it's really something. Let me just let her talk.
There was that whole trend of I want a guy in finance who's 6'5", blue eyes. Did you see that? She wrote this whole song about it. Yeah. And it's a joke, but it's not, because they have this image in their mind of what kind of guy they want. When you look at those numbers of the percentage for both men and women of men who are whatever height they want, make 6 figures plus, are single, are not overweight.
It's a rounding error, yeah.
Yeah, and the same goes for women. If you want a woman who is not on the left, is not on any kind of antidepressants, not obese. Yeah. I mean, and again, tiny, obvious.
She doesn't seem to be aware of what she just said. And it's stranger that Chris Williamson doesn't draw her attention to it. But if you want a summary of what she just said, what she said is women often have too high standards these days. That the whole 6'5" blue, the guy in finance, 6'5" blue eyes, that song, that's not really a joke. It's what women actually want, and if a guy doesn't fit any of those standards, who's not 6'5", which is a very small percentage of men are 6'5" or taller. Blue eyes, and in finance, meaning making a lot of money, that's a very small. That's a sliver of the male population, a tiny sliver. And then she says, but the same applies to guys. If you're a guy and you want a girl who's not obese, you want a girl who's not on the left, and who's not on antidepressants. I mean, she says that's a small percent, just a tiny sliver of women don't fit those, aren't in all three of those things. Really? As bleak as I think things are right now between the sexes, I think that more than a sliver of women are not all three of those things. And maybe there are even women out there who are none of those things. But the standards that she talks about women having are, just so impossibly high, where they will not be satisfied. They'll get icked out by anyone who's 6'4" or shorter. And if he works at an auto shop and isn't in finance, or if he doesn't have blue eyes, ick. But men, if you want to be with a woman who's not insane, and a really annoying leftist feminist, and what was the other thing? On antidepressants, I guess that's the same kind of thing. Not obese. I've got to say, I'm just talking about the antidepressants thing because she mentioned it. I don't think antidepressants are are like a red flag or anything. But most men wouldn't want to be with a woman who's obese, even if she's really, really nice, just because it's not appealing, being obese, and it's not healthy. But it's just not attractive, and that's not really asking for much. Don't be obese, But the way she makes, she unknowingly stacks up the standards that women have against the standards that men have, the standards that women have for men against versus the standards that men have for women, and she acknowledges that even though she's sort of trying to be even-handed, it she's the way she talks makes it sound like men are also asking for impossible standards, like asking for her not to be obese, and not to be on antidepressants, and not to be a crazy leftist feminist. I mean, it doesn't seem like that's really asking for too much. It's not saying, anything about her measurements. It's not saying anything about her hair color or her breast size or any other anything else like that. Just don't be obese. Don't be obese is like that's pretty reasonable. You can be a little bit overweight, just don't be obese. But even that is like, that's a lot to ask for these days. I mean, I'm not saying, I think the picture that she's drawing here, is maybe more unflattering to women than is even true today. And I'm saying that as someone who, as I said, is thinks that modern women have got some issues. Okay, so I'm obviously not a a simp or a somebody who's in any way denying the problems of women today from a man's point of view. But this, my God, the differences between the standards are just off the wall.